What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here today. Brett and I are out here on this Saturday morning, and we are going to be talking about our gear that we've been using for filming this summer for scouting, as well as the gear we're going to be using this fall to film our hunts. So first off, we're each going to be running a main camera. We'll get to them later in the video. That's what we're filming off of right now, my main camera. Brett doesn't have his with, and unfortunately Jackson's not here right now, so we don't have his camera with, but we're going to talk about them a little later in the video. So to start off, we're going to talk about our secondary cameras. Brett and I are both going to be running the GoPro Hero 9. That's going to be like our secondary angle. Depending on what stand we're sitting in, we might have them facing front to us, we might have them behind us facing down. Really all depends on how we can mount them in the tree stand we're in. So like I said, Jackson's not here right now, but we're going to talk about his gear anyway. He's going to be running the GoPro Hero 5. He's going to be running it the same way we are, depending on where he's at, where he's hunting, depending on the angle you're going to get. It all just depends on if you can put it on your bow hanger or if you can put it on the tree behind you. We're going to go over some of the mounts we have with those right now.
One thing that Rem and myself are both running on the GoPro. So when you buy the GoPro 9, it actually is a waterproof camera, but with us doing more of the self-filming type stuff, we both elected to buy the media mod. So you'll see that we have a microphone here. These things are really good at, like he said, getting that conversation when you're in the tree stand. You have it mounted watching you pull your bow back, but this helps drown out background noise and wind, and I've been very impressed with that aspect of it. I know Rem said about different mounts that we have for the GoPros. We have a clamp with a swivel. I think you and Jackson both each have them. These are good if you're gonna, I like to clamp these on my shooting rails or on a limb. That's probably what I'll be using the most in a tree stand. I'm gonna have this with my GoPro with the attachment. It's gonna be watching me more often than not, doing the interviews, talking about the hunt, what I'm seeing. And worst case scenario, if something happens with the main camera, I have a backup right away at my disposal. Some of the other attachments, depending on what type of hunting you're doing, for dove, I've been using my head mount. I know Rem and myself both have been running these. Jackson has this. This is perfect if, put your hat on backwards, you're wearing a beanie, or just no hat at all, you can put this on, and it picks up your eye level. So if you're shooting birds or anything like that, these are great. And this here is the chest mount. Wear it like a reverse backpack, put it on, gives you back support, walk around with the camera mounted right to your chest. I use this mostly for fishing. I use this mostly for shed hunting. It's just something I can put on, walk around, and pick up what I'm seeing in live time. And I know if you watch any of the shed hunting videos, that is primarily what I use. And if you're fishing, it gives you that good action from the reel perspective and the rod tip. I've been running the GoPro for the Hero 9 for about a year. And it's been great, like I said, for the interviews. It's been great for in the field, action-packed. But the stuff that maybe the bigger cameras don't necessarily pick up on, these are really good for us. I will say this, if you're in the market for a GoPro, the battery life on these is really good. These last couple hours, we were dove hunting last week with them, and the battery life is really good considering, even with the colder temperatures.
So if you watched any of our summer scouting videos, you'll notice we used a new tool this year that Brett actually won in a giveaway / contest for shooting the buck that he did last year, and that is the Tacticam Spotter LR. So that is a camera that mounts to a spotting scope. So Brett picked up a spotting scope to go along with that Spotter LR that he won, and I know he used it a lot this year. I know we made a little video on it. We used it a lot for our summer scouting, where we're able to sit couple hundred yards away from the deer and just watch them, whether it's in a bean field, hay field, something like that. We were able to see the deer, watch them, and really stay far enough away where we weren't disturbing them at all.
This was actually a neat tool. When you think about the East Coast, like we hunt in PA, you wouldn't think that you would have a need for something like this, and this might not have been something I would have been like, oh, I'm going to go buy. But since I want to see what all this thing could do. And it did exceeded my expectations. I could sit, like Rem said, way in the distance, have my spotting scope set up, and I can video everything, and it's crystal clear. If you watch the video, you can see some of the deer. It almost, not to say it doesn't look real, but it looked 3D. It brought you right into their living room, and it really kind of brought things full circle. You're not disturbing the deer. So this is a neat tool. Anyone who is out west, people that like to sit in the distance and watch turkeys, this is a good tool. But I know Tactacam makes a good product, and the cool thing about this is it comes with different heads. So if you have a different size spotting scope, you could use different attachments for it and find the one that fits the eyepiece. And you can just sit back, put it on a tripod. It did come with a tripod, but I would recommend maybe getting a little bit better one, and that way you're more stable, because once you're zooming in at that type of magnification, little errors makes things wobbly. But to get a good crystal clear picture, get a nice tripod for it and sit back, relax, and we enjoyed doing that in the summer scouting videos.
So Brett picked up this spotting scope this year, like I said, to go along with the Tactacam Spotter LR. It's just a very simple model. It's the E. Simmons Venture, 20 by 60 magnification. Like he was saying, around here, don't really have a huge use for something like this. We do hunt some bigger fields, some bigger farms that have a lot more fields, so that's kind of why we're able to use this. It's not all hardwoods here where we're at. He didn't need to go with a super expensive spotting scope. We're not going to be using it that much, like he said, versus people out west. But you know, for what we used it for this summer, I think it worked great. I know next summer we're probably definitely going to use it a lot more. It's definitely a great tool to have in our arsenal, and I'm excited to see how we continue to use it here in the next couple years. So like I said earlier, we're going to circle back to this now. The three main cameras we're going to be running, they're all a little bit different. So when we first started off 2 years ago, we were filming off Jackson's family's old Canon DSLR, I guess you would consider it. That was our very first camera we started using, and you know, after we really got into it, I went out and got this one that we're filming off of right now, which is the Canon Rebel SL3, and I've got that one. I got 3 different lenses for that one. I didn't bring them with today, but I've got a small lens, for just like face-to-face stuff. I've got a long lens, which we use in deer scouting, stuff like that, hunting, rifle hunting. And then I've got the lens I've got on now, which is a kind of in between. It can film close up and pretty good distance away. That's what I'm going to be using during hunting season. I'll go over, I'll show you guys on film on the GoPro here and show you guys what it looks like. But I got a Rode mic on it as well, which gives us that good audio. Brett is actually going to be using that first camera we ever used. Jackson upgraded. Like I said, Jackson's not with us, so we don't have those cameras right now with us to show you guys. But you know, if you watch any of our old videos, that's the camera we used until we got this one for the most part. And then Jackson actually just went out and bought a new camcorder. He got the Canon Vixia HFG50, I think it's called, something like that. He put a Rode mic on that as well, so that's going to be his main camera for the year. Really good camcorder. He's been messing around with it a little bit. If you guys watch the elk video that he just put up, the PA elk video, that's what he used to film those elk. So definitely a pretty good camera for what it's used for, and I'm excited to see how it films this year for him. Like I said, Brett's going to be using Jackson's old camera now that he upgraded, so we're all three going to have cameras now. Last hunting season, we were switching cameras around every day. I know I'd go to Brett's house, drop it off so he could use it for a hunt. I'd pick it up, then go hunt, and vice versa. Or, you know, Jackson would switch cameras. I'd use that one while Brett used his, or, you know, we were all just switching cameras. So it's going to be nice now. We're all going to have our own camera, our own batteries. We don't have to worry about switching them around, and it's really going to help us get as much footage as possible this hunting season. All right, so I'm on the GoPro 9 now. I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys the camera quick. Like I said, I have the Canon Rebel SL3 right there. This is a Rode mic. Don't know exactly which one it is. It's got the battery in it. This is the wind guard, so anytime it's windy, that's going to help cut out any of that excess wind noise. And this is the lens that I'm running. A majority of the time it's an 18 to 135, so that is your close up to medium distance. I have a 55 to 250, which that's what I use for all of my long distance shots, whether it's during rifle season, I'm hunting a field, or deer scouting in the summer. That's when I use that lens. And then I have the original lens, the 18 to 55, which is what it came with, but being able to go from 18 to 135 and still be able to use the 55 in between, I just run the lens I have on it now. So that's my main camera setup. I've had this for about a year now. Probably going to keep it for a little bit yet. I love it. It takes good videos and good pictures, so it's a good all-around camera for me. All right, so during hunting season here, we're obviously, like I said, we're going to have 3 main cameras. We have to have something to put those cameras on. So that is where these camera arms come into play. Now, last year, like I said, we were sharing cameras. We were also sharing camera arms. Jackson and I both have this one, which is your basic Muddy. That's the ones we bought last year for their first year of filming. Brett and I shared this one a lot, as well as my camera. Like I said, if he was hunting and I wasn't, I'd drop everything off for him. He would use it. I'd pick it up then when I'm going hunting. So now I actually went out and picked up a new 4th Arrow one. I do need to get a fluid head for it yet. I gotta buy one before the season here, and then my camera arm will be all set up. So now that I have this one here, Brett's just gonna be able to use the Muddy one for the time being. Jackson is also still gonna be using the Muddy one for his setup. The Muddy arm is a great beginner one. It is a little bit not as stiff just because of how it's made, but I mean, you get what you pay for. It does come with the fluid head though, and the part that would screw into the bottom of your camera. It's got a level on it as well, so you're really all set up to go with that camera arm. Mine, like I said, I have just the camera arm and the mounting base to the tree. I have to buy a separate fluid head for it, which, I mean, I can buy a better fluid head than what you can get on the Muddy, so this setup will be really smooth. I'm hoping to get a lot of good footage out of it. You know, it'll give me a good movement to pan. You know, as I'm following deer, it'll be nice, smooth movement, so definitely looking forward to trying this out. This is the first time I put it on the tree since I got it. I just got it in this week, and I mean, it's just smooth the way it rotates. You know, the pivot arm here and the pivot arm here, it's just very smooth. So I'm excited to use it this season.
Now, like I said, I'm excited this year to be running full-time everything with arm. You know, it's going to do me just fine this year. Next year, I'm probably going to update. This is the first I've seen this one live. I've been watching it, you know, on Instagram, everything like that, and every other hunter that uses it. Just standing here now for the first time, this thing's amazing. Like, this one here, like he said, you get what you pay for. This one there is a lot more forgiving. It is so much, when you're talking about movement, archery season, that's going to be very, very, very important. And it kind of gives you a way broader range. It's, yeah, really user-friendly. You have that thing on the tree in seconds. Well, that's going to wrap up this video for today. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is just some of the camera gear and equipment that we run to make this kind of possible. In the future, we're going to be looking for suggestions. If you guys have a preference, leave a comment. But share this video, and we can't wait to bring this all full circle come archery season here in about 2 weeks, and bring you guys good content using these pieces of equipment. So enjoy.